Hello, students! Welcome back to Mr. Sandwich Reads. I am Mr. Sandwich, and it is Friday. As you can probably tell by my threads here, if you've been watching, that Friday in my house is Mario Day. It's also a beautiful day where I am here, and I hope it is there too as well. I am wearing my hat to keep the glare off of my shiny head, so I hope that's helpful to you. And if Owen, one of my students, is watching, he knows he knows the bird is the word. So this is a little shout out to him as well. All right, I am reading The King of Mulberry Street by Donna Napoli, and I am on chapter 10, which is called Needs. That's on page 73. When we last left off, Dom was at Ellis Island, and then he was suddenly tugged away from one of the nurses there who had given him an examination, like a physical. And at the last second, one of the guards there that had kind of given him the fake documents he needed with his new name, so that he could get into the country. He needed documentation for that. They kind of tucked that into his pants as he was being tugged away from the nurse. So we'll see what's going to happen with Dom here. If this nurse is in to help him, or if he's going to end up in an orphanage. That was a concern before. They were telling him you should have gone with the uncle, quote unquote, which is the what do they call him here? I want to say Peloton, but it's not the Peloton. It's Padrone, the Padroni. So they said you should have gone with the Padrone there to get you in. You would at least had a place to stay. Otherwise, you're going to end up in an orphanage here. We'll see what happens. The nurse took me to benches at long tables where tired people sat. Many had chalk marks on their jackets. If you remember, the chalk marks symbolize different illnesses and sicknesses. She tapped on shoulders, getting everyone to look at me. When no one claimed me, she gestured for me to sit, and she marked with chalk on the back of my shirt. I could feel her write a giant O. Every so often, a nurse came up and led someone down the hall to the left, but mostly we waited. A man pushed a metal cart between the tables and gave crackers to everyone and warm milk to the children. It tasted funny, but I drank it. Some of us were herded upstairs to dormitory rooms. Triple-decker beds pushed against each other in pairs. I was put in the room with the women and children. We were told to leave our things and come down in 2 hours to eat. In the meantime, we should line up for washing. Mothers stripped their children. I wasn't about to undress, so I had to find a way to avoid the washing. And I wanted to look at that paper in my pocket. If you remember, Dom's mom had advised him, don't get undressed in front of anybody. Why was that? It's because she didn't want anyone to see that he was circumcised. She wants him to assimilate and sort of mask or cover his Judaism so that he can fit in any situation and avoid maybe any hostility towards his being Jewish, or anti-Semitism would be another word. Let's see. And he wants to look at the document in the back of his pocket. I went to the bathroom, but women crowded around it. I headed for the stairs down to the bathroom I'd used during the day. An Italian woman stood in my path arguing with a woman in uniform. I paid my passage. But you came alone, said the official, and no man is waiting for you. See these hands? The Italian woman held up, red hands. I did laundry night and day to get here. Unescorted women are not allowed off Ellis Island. It doesn't matter how many people you argue with, that's the rule. We'll have to contact an immigrant aid society to come get you. No charity home. I take care of myself. I have money. Don't say it too loud, said the official, or you soon won't. She fingered the keys that hung from her waist. I paid my passage. The women's home is nice, I hear. She jiggled her keys. I hear it's a hellhole. I paid my passage. I sidled past them and went downstairs. The bathroom was locked from the inside. I waited. An official appeared from around the corner. I looked at my feet and hardly breathed. He walked by. And still no one came out of the bathroom. Finally, I knocked. Excuse me. The door opened a crack. An eye peeked at me. Then a hand grabbed my shirt and pulled me in, locking the door behind me. We were pressed against each other in the tiny stall. I looked up into a boy's face. What are you doing making noise like that? Trying to get me into trouble? He was clearly from Napoli. I just want to use the toilet, I said. No one's supposed to use this one after hours, he frowned. Go on. I hunched over and did my business. Hurry up, he said, and make sure no one sees you leave. I reached for the doorknob. Hold on, he put his hand on my shoulder. Did you see the upstairs of separation where we're empty? Are you trying to sneak out? His cheeks twitched. I want to sneak out too, I said. You? What are you, 9, 10? I'm 14. I could do a man's work. I can earn $5 a week in a textile mill, or even more. They won't let me work officially till I'm 16, but underage workers make it through all the time. I'm going to make it through. You'll look older with a little brother tagging along. He pressed his lips together. Get out of here. I opened the door and peeked out. The boy shut the door, pulling me inside again. You should have told me you're an orphan. What says I'm an orphan? The O on the back of your shirt? Even if you do sneak it through, whoever sees that O will turn you in and you'll be thrown into an orphanage. You won't get out till you're 16. I took off my shirt, turned it inside out, and put it on. That's too obvious. You need a new shirt. And pants too. Yours are ripped. Tell you what, I know where you can get other clothes, but you have to promise to bring me back some too. Okay. Why should I trust you? Why shouldn't you? His forehead frowned. Look, I said, if I bring back clothes, you're better off. If I don't, you're no worse off. He swallowed. You're too smart for your age. I'll bring back clothes, I said. I owe you for telling me what the O meant. And then maybe you'll let me come with you, I thought. But I said, that way we're even. Upstairs, there's a room full of used clothes. Get me a coat and pants and a shirt. I can't carry all that. Besides, it's hot out. Summer doesn't last forever, kid. It's not like Napoli. It snows here. Snow? But what did it matter? I'd be home soon. Where's the room? Somewhere upstairs. Search. He opened the door a crack. I peeked, then raced up the stairs. I walked near the wall and glanced into open doors. I came to a closed door, locked. But the next door opened to reveal piles of clothes. I shut the door behind me. From the window, I saw people scurrying about. It would be easy to get lost in that crowd, and then I could figure out what to do next. Across the water, tall buildings rose. A ship docked in the Narrows. It looked small from here, a wolf in a canyon. Would I ever see the canyons near Napoli again? Would I ever see Mama? Not if they threw me in an orphanage. I took the papers out of my pocket finally. They were the documents the German translator had filled out. Somehow, they would help me. I changed into a clean short-sleeved shirt and lightweight pants and tucked the papers in my new pocket. Then I grabbed a coat for the boy in the bathroom. I stuffed a shirt for him down one of the coat sleeves and a pair of pants down the other. I took the meat from my old shirt pocket and put it in the coat pocket. The boy could eat it later. I walked back along the balcony. A hand caught my shoulder and a woman yanked on the coat. I pulled away and ran. When I snuck a glance back at her, she was watching me. The boy in the bathroom was waiting. He'd make a dash for it soon. Then I'd be alone again. And someone would write another O on my back. And I'd never make it onto a boat, never get home to see Mama. I needed something to catch that woman's attention so I could get to the bathroom. Anything. I took the meat out of the coat pocket and tapped on the shoulder of a man. He looked at me. I pointed at the woman and handed him the meat. The man frowned. He stood up and walked toward her. I forced my way past the rest of the men and ran down the stairs. I tapped on the bathroom door. The door opened. The boy snatched the coat and shut the door in my face. Panicked, I rushed down a hall and opened a door. Men stood with their shirts in their hands, waiting to be inspected. A young girl carried a coffee cup to a doctor. She left through a side door. A few of the other doctors had cups on the tables near them. I picked up 2 empty cups, one in each hand. I walked out the door the girl had used. I was in a kitchen. A woman tilted her head at me and said something. Excuse me. I forced a smile and put the cups on the counter. Then I walked through the kitchen and out another door, and sure enough, there were stairs. I went down and out onto the street. All right. So, doing a little kind of squirreling around this building here of Ellis of on Ellis Island. Um, it's crowded. There's people. So a lot of waiting. It's like a lot of waiting rooms. There's a kitchen. There's medical examinations going on, and nobody notices Dom kind of sneak through. Looks like he knows where he's going, or he's finishing his exam because he's got the two cups there, and he makes it through a door and out onto the street. So seemingly, he's made it into Manhattan here. He's made it into New York City. He's got the documents in his back pocket. Do you think he's going to be all right? Do you think he's going to get pulled right back in, thrown on the boat, thrown in an orphanage? Or is he going to make it here? Is he going to get back to see Mama here? So a lot of unknowns. We'll see what happens. Keep following along. Hope you enjoyed the King of Mulberry Street. That was chapter 10. What was that called? Turn? Needs? It's called Needs. All right. Yeah. Take it easy. Peace. Have a great weekend.